Come on. Up.
Go ahead.
That's a good boy.
Okay,
Come on. There you go.
Sorry. Sorry.
You like blocked his. You like. That's a good boy. All right. Sleepy enough today to maybe try this?
No
For real?
way. Absolutely
Come
no
on.
way.
Lay down. This feels like such an. Oh yeah. Welcome.
It's never
once
gonna
again.
happen. Yeah. Welcome to Input
Output for this week, whatever week
What
this
week
is.
it?
Somehow we've had a longer week this week than any weeks previous. I
Yeah.
hope it doesn't trend this way for the rest of 2025, although it feels like that's a possibility, like
It can't
a
trend
realistic.
this way for all of 2025, right?
Well, how about this? It can't trend this way forever. Can it? Well, let's not put that into the universe. Let's say
Yeah.
that
No. We just had our last long week
Yeah,
of 2025.
exactly.
And boy, was it a fucking long week.
it was.
Long week.
Let's talk about stuff that happened.
Cool.
There's a bunch of, for those that don't give a shit about gaming
Or tech. It's kind of a digital world heavy input output.
Yeah, because what window have we but that into anything fun or joyful?
Oh, I thought that was going to go a different direction, but
Sorry to disappoint. So anyways, a few things happened this week.
Yeah.
One,
yeah. Let's talk about
PlayStation Showcase. PlayStation Showcase. I feel like I'm disappointing. We just started. PlayStation Showcase. People had complaints that it wasn't, flagship, the Wolverine game, or whatever other expectations they had. Ghost of Yotai. I don't get that excited for those on these state of plays, primarily because those are the kinds of games they always have their own dedicated state of play with gameplay and the developers talk, which I think is cool.
Yep.
So I wasn't actually expecting that. There were murmurs, quiet murmurs in the corner of the internet, which I mean everywhere, right in your face, about maybe a Bloodborne remaster coming out.
Yep.
Once again. We were all cut off at the news. My whole thing is that if we hit the 10-year anniversary in March, and they don't announce it,
Announcement as a verb.
Right.
Yeah.
If they don't announcement it, then they hate it, they hate us, and they hope that we all die. And
if it doesn't happen by the 10th anniversary, it's not happening, is what you're saying.
Well,
but we've got up until then. But that is
they've
this
got
year,
up
right?
until then. Yes, they have up until then before I never forgive them for how long it took. So,
do you hear that, Sony?
That's the
Do you hear that from software?
Yeah, you could release it if you're floundering and like, we need something. Finally, we'll tap into our, fan base that is the most supportive and loves Sony Japan.
He'll never.
But I'll be
you.
No, I won't have forgiven then. Or forgotten.
My prediction is that everyone will forgive everything once they finally announce something with Bloodborne. So
you've got a point.
Yeah.
I've been playing the emulator on the PC, the Shad PS4. Look it up. I might put it in the description. It's emulating almost 100%, 60 frames a second. It's great.
Oh, it looked great with a CRT filter.
It did, just for the hell of it.
Good.
However, I may stream that, but it's at this point they're not gonna release anything you won't be able to do on an emulator. So, anyways, whatever. So that didn't happen at the Sony showcase. Didn't show any big flagship titles, although. There were complaints about that, but I actually thought it was my kind of state of play, which was a lot of unannounced things, some really interesting games that I thought looked both art direction really beautiful and fun. I mean, I think the only complaint I actually have is that it was like very much action based. Like there weren't any like RPGs or there were really anything except action, but some really dope ones. My most anticipated title out of it is going to be Saros from Housemarque, who did Returnal, which is highly underrated. tough as nails roguelite.
And they did Nex Machina too, right?
They did Nex Machina. They did Super Stardust. They're very... If you want action games, I'm not sure that anyone has contemporary games that are more fun to play. But they are hard, and I'm excited about it, though. It looks great.
Yeah.
I say that, but it was like one of those teasers that didn't show anything. I'm assuming it's going to be fun.
That's my general take on state of play and everything these days, which is we've already heard about most of these things. Advertising means nothing to me. And boy, we sure spend a lot of time looking for
we're not getting
minor updates that ultimately tell you nothing.
Yeah. This sounds really cynical. I feel like this has been such a downer start to these, but what do you do? It does feel a little like Sony's whole thing is like, we'll show a teaser trailer in the state of plays and then gameplay much closer to the actual release, which I think in theory is fine. But when there's so many games being released all the time, I just feel like it's super saturated with teaser trailers where I don't actually know what the game's going to be like. So the reason I'm excited about Saros is because they make good games, so they're probably going to be good. I don't have a ton more to say about the state of play. There was Hell Is Us was really cool looking, and a couple others. I actually thought low-key the octopus one that looked like a Limbo inside kind of game, but with an octopus was like cutesy, but looked potentially pretty interesting. Maybe we'll show some shit here.
Some octopus shit.
What else? What was the other thing?
Elden Ring Night Rain.
Oh my goodness gracious. I am so lazy. I did not try to get a code because I was like, I'll just wait till it comes out.
Okay, wait. Here's the brief background. The two of us play FromSoft games with a friend of ours, shout out to Soren, almost every week. We're not always playing a FromSoft game, but we call it our Fingy Matey night because it started when we all played through Elden Ring together. Yeah. And so a 3-person co-op roguelite FromSoft game, it's like From Software created it just for the three of us.
Yeah, we feel pretty seen with that.
Yeah. Really excited about it.
And while I think we would all agree if they could ever make... Because the seamless co-op mode on PC I've heard is really amazing. Because I do like the idea of exploring together, and that's not what this is.
We like playing FromSoft games together also.
Yeah. So...
But we love a roguelite game for repeatability.
So we weren't like so many people were like, first From Software misstep. And it's
no, we were like,
Yeah, it's just a little spin-off.
For us.
Yeah, let's do it. So I was pretty excited to see actual gameplay of what this thing looks like. And I think our combined take, please tell me if I'm wrong here, is that it just looks fun and probably is fun. Yeah. My expectations are not higher than that. The things that they do so well in terms of narrative and world building, those fuck right off with this game. It's clearly the other thing they do well, which is combat.
It is a game for FromSoft fans. I think you can say that much. It's fan service, but it's exactly the kind of fan service I want, which is like, it isn't about the myth and the lore and the intricate narrative being woven. It's about jumping into a FromSoft world with two of your friends.
Jumping in
and
like
literally
Fortnite.
Running through a 45-minute start-to-finish FromSoft playthrough.
Yeah.
With simplified combat that lets you focus more on having fun with it instead of developing a build that you have to pour all your resources into.
And you're probably going to get some of that same excitement you get when you all together synergistically take down a boss and you're like, we did that together, we did a good job. That still seems present. At the top end, it'll be like Binding of Isaac. I know that's an incredibly high bar and it probably will not match that because it's not crafted exactly that way. But that's the kind of experience. A similar
experience.
Where you like every build's
different. And we love Binding of Isaac too. So like...
Yeah. At the worst, I think at the worst though, with the studio's pedigree, it'll be a dick around for FromSoft fans that is pretty fun for literally the purpose only of chatting with friends
while you play.
While you jump in.
Yep.
I don't think single player is going to function. I really don't. No matter what, even though they say you can, It's not built
It really
that way.
is for 3 people who are talking to each other.
Absolutely. So I think that we're excited about it.
Yeah.
I wished I had gotten I felt very left out. I don't get a lot of FOMO bullshit, but I was watching people play and I was like, maybe I'll jump into Elden Ring. And I was like, that's not necessary.
But you could. It comes out in May.
May 30th.
It's okay to have to wait for things sometimes.
May 30th. I know, we can wait. I'm playing.
But I'm fucking stoked.
I'm going to talk about what I'm playing in regard to something else that came out, but let's talk about this whole thing.
I spent way too much money. Okay, wait. Backstory. I'm a lifelong journaler.
Yeah.
If you've watched really both full episodes, you can see my love of pen on paper in both of them.
And you should watch both episodes and subscribe.
If you
and
haven't,
do all
what
that
are you
stuff.
doing here?
What
are you doing here? Get out here and go watch the full episodes instead of watching us ramble about meaningless, trivial,
I the money shots, but that doesn't make...
It's like an hour and a half of money shots. It's like 2 hour-and-a-half long episodes of money shots. Anyway, go watch those.
Anyways,
so,
if that doesn't sell
lifelong
you.
Journaler.
Yeah.
Used to do the classic moleskin. Had a collection of all my journals from like high school to college. Decided I didn't want to be physically weighed down by the dregs of my past. Digitized them all. Threw them all out. And have been trying to understand what journaling looks like when you're not trying to amass a huge shelf of paper.
Right.
So I keep a pencil and paper journal, but I spent too much money on this Remarkable Pro tablet, which is an e-ink paper tablet that is essentially supposed to replace notebooks, pen and paper use. Supposedly.
Yeah.
And it was so expensive that I was like, either this is going to fundamentally replace any notebook I would ever buy ever again, or I'm going to return it because they have a very generous return policy that I will be making use of. And I'm genuinely on the fence. I've tried it for a few days in a row. I love the idea of being able to digitize easily. I don't want to have to scan every notebook I ever write in.
E-ink is great. If you've not...
E-ink is great.
Yeah.
The writing experience for what it is, decent.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I tried
Still doesn't feel like writing on paper with a pencil to me.
We always talk about haptics in regard to like feedback with the digital devices, but it's never the same.
And it's a textural thing. It is the thing. Whatever. I guess this is welcome to my brain. Deep diving on something that most people will find trivial, so I'll keep it short for the purposes of input-output.
Do what you need to do.
But it is the sacrifice that you make in order to be able to save your notes, your journals easily. So this will be the philosophical thing that I'm weighing out for less than 100 days because that's the return window. Am I willing to give up the literal tactile experience of transference of material? Because that's what pencil and paper is. Pencil scratching into a tactile sheet of
pencil giving
material.
Up part of itself to the paper.
That's what I mean. There's an exchange of materials.
Something behind.
Right?
Destroying itself for your...
That will be the pencil and paper thing. And we'll find out whether I'm willing to give it up for the ease of future record keeping.
Just 2 little things. It has color e-ink too, which is pretty cool, but doesn't seem super practical unless you're reading internet stuff on it.
Or like a student, like highlighting notes.
Yeah, I think that would be really great. I think for a student who is actually actively doing tons of note taking and recording and sort of like taking in of information and needing to organize it, it's a very light, well-made. The engineering's really beautiful.
It is.
It's a beautiful piece, but I gotta tell you,
it's nice and thin.
How expensive is it?
It's too expensive. It's very expensive. Do I have to admit it here, now?
Yes, you do, because people might be wondering about it.
It's between $500 and $600.
So it's like an iPad, minus a ton of features.
Yes.
However, much kinder on the eyes because of the e-ink and better tactile feedback for sure. It's
than the iPad.
And but it's equally well engineered.
Not that much better.
No, it's just expensive. I think that had that product came in the $200-$300 range, which it probably will eventually.
They have a cheaper version. This is the brand new version.
Yeah.
And
it's expansive.
The one thing that I might be interested in with the color is sometimes you'd be able to like doodle in your journals with at least really basic materials on hand to make those a little more fun.
Yeah.
Like I think about when I kept my journal when we were in Thailand and was like drawing things as we went along. Yeah. You could do that on something much lighter and
right.
still relatively. But yeah, it's definitely a niche product, depending on how you say that word. I say niche, even though I know it's wrong.
Is it wrong?
Yeah, it's technically niche.
I like niche better.
I do too, and that's why I say it. Anyway,
words.
Yeah, we'll see. You'll
get a report before it's either returned or kept.
Yep.
I think they're also banking on people who like throw money around for tech to just get it and be like, I like it.
Yeah.
Enough to not feel like returning it but there are people who love these things. So
they've got a dedicated fan base.
Use these.
And there absolutely will be people who spend that much money on a thing that they use like once a month for work or something like that. But I'm not one of those people. So
it's a cost value proposition. If you are going to, but people are so bad at that equation. If you're going to use this thing every day,
worth it.
I think it's worth that money. It doesn't really matter what you pay for something in some ways.
This was my thinking.
Even if you'd have to save up for, I remember having to save up for so long to get something I really wanted, but the decision has to be like,
it's got to be worth it then.
You got to want to use it all the time.
You have to be paid back in your usage.
Yeah, so much of our stuff is disposable, so I think this is why people get so pissed about Apple now, because when they first came out, it was exciting and you used it every day. And now people are like, I don't even know how I want to use any of this stuff.
And I kind of hate it.
I like that this is stripped down to not being an everything device, because I think that has started to wane for people as something that excites them. It's just really pricey, so you have to be pretty right. So I think their 100-day policy is actually smart. The right way to do it from a commerce standpoint, because if you are using it after 70 days, you're going to keep it.
Yeah.
If you've used it twice, you probably shouldn't keep it.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
But it's interesting.
But yeah, I would pay $600 to never buy a journal again. I know you'd have to upgrade it because it's tech, but still,
things last for a long time now. That's a funny thing about tech that is we should give credit to. A lot of the things that I bought that were nicer we still use. We don't like to throw things away. No. So anyways, and to wrap up this week quickly, the other thing that happened in gaming is the game Avowed came out, which is Obsidian, which is the company that did Fallout New Vegas, and they did Outer Worlds, and I'm a fan. I think they're they feel like Bethesda, but a little better, is how I always felt about Obsidian. Because they always work with Bethesda, but their humor's a little better. Their games are a little tighter, I would say, but they always are a little stripped back. Anyways, Avowed came out. It's pure fantasy, almost like Skyrim, but less exploration, I would say, and way more colorful, for better or worse, and more about combat.
Do you mean colorful in terms of content or visuals?
Visuals, I mean, actually, because it's very almost like neon colors in this world versus Skyrim, which is very dungeons and natural snow mountains and stuff. So what's funny is I had just started replaying Skyrim. I was having one of those periods where I was having trouble. I was tired from doing a bunch of stuff, so I was having trouble getting enthusiastic about starting up a big game, which are my preferred type of game. So sometimes when I feel like that, I'll return to something, and you can just mod the living hell out of Skyrim now to look really quite good. You can modify a bunch of systems of combat to make the admittedly kind of flimsy combat better. You can add shitloads of NPC dialogue, so you end up having lengthy conversations about the environment. The list goes on in a way that you probably wouldn't believe.
Insane stuff too. Those are basic
those
quality
are like
of life improvements, but there's like insane shit.
Yeah, you can make it do it. You can make all the dragons Thomas the Train Engine. So
etc.
etc. So but the thing about it that I did want to express is two things. One, that's not the thing about it. That's the things about it that I wanted to express. One is that modding is much easier now. So if you've ever thought about it or heard about it and we're like, that's crazy, if you get a Nexus Mods account and you it's easier to pay for their premium. It's really cheap. It's like $5 or something. What you can do then is you can download mods from their website to this app, and they'll like auto load them into the game. So it's not, you don't really have to do anything except find mod lists and like let Nexus Mods do it. This is for Skyrim. Some games are harder, but it's gotten really easy is my point. Anyone can do it who can use a Windows PC, which is already a challenge.
Yep.
So anyways, loaded this up, and thinking about Fallout, thinking about Starfield, thinking about now Avowed, I think what happened when I got back into Skyrim again is there's something, I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's just by far still the best to me. I think there's a reason it's been repackaged 100,000 times. And it's one of those things where I don't think everything that's popular is the best. Like, I don't think that's true. I hate the argument that like if 2 million people can't be wrong or something. It's like 2 million people
absolutely
can be wrong, right? I mean, right?
Yeah.
So millions of people can be fucking wrong as all fuck. So you have to bleep. That's a lot to bleep out.
You're gonna have to bleep it out.
Yeah. So my point is that doesn't hold water for me. But Skyrim really is just a blast. You just wander around. The NPCs and the stories are like, Skyrim's almost like a satire of fantasy games for me, because like where it's bad, it's really funny.
Yeah.
It has some of the most fabulous ragdoll physics after people die or you die. I mean, how many times have I purposely been climbing up a mountain and then like saved it just to see what would happen if my body just flopped down the mountain? Because it'll do things. It's like Red Dead that way. It's just like, oh, really funny. And then the dungeon crawling's really good. Everything's really good. Nothing's like great. The combat's not great. But like playing a sniper, archer, sneaking archer, or like a mage and just like frying people with fire. Yes, it's not that complicated or innovative. It's such a chill game. Just wander around and like clear bandit camps and go down into caves and find Dwemer ruins with like automatons. You're like, how does this fit in this world? It's a lot going on.
Solid good things are rare. There's great things, but you can't engage in great things all the time.
No,
like we need good things to fill up time.
Actually good.
Yeah, actually good things.
Yeah.
And I think that is actually rarer than people would think that it is.
Yeah, and I think that from I feel defensive sometimes about nerdy stuff that people are like, oh my gosh, what a weird rabbit hole to go down, like modding Skyrim. And it's like, no. It's one of the great games of all time. It has kind of infinite replayability in a lot of ways. Bethesda absolutely made it kind of a trash heap in terms of programming. So the community who loves it, who are incredibly talented software engineers, have basically beyond fixed the game. So now it's not only the right heart and soul of a game that it always was, but it works great. It works far better than it ever did. It looks better. There's insane stuff that you can do. And I think also the ability to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Tweak it. Fine tune.
Yeah, there was a customize. That game, because of the mods, is so much higher than your typical game that you can kind of like tune Skyrim to be like whatever you feel like for 100+ hours.
Yeah.
And it's a great decompression for me personally. And I think looking at Avowed, I'll probably try it. I really liked Outer Worlds. It just also feels like it lacks that special sauce to it where you just feel like jumping in and never leaving kind of thing.
Yeah.
So go play Skyrim again. Mod the shit out of it. I bet after you get back past the opening, I think you're gonna be like, yeah, it's pretty sweet stuff.
Yep.
So that's what I'm doing to distract me from.
And that's pretty much it for this week.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I don't know if you did this intentionally. You did an amazing job of color coordinating your sweatshirt and your socks. Did you do that on purpose? Styling.
My brain wants to find patterns, so it'll make patterns out of my clothing. I'm not trying to be cool.
Patterns.
Yeah, if it can. Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought I'd pay you that compliment on camera.
You. Oh.
What was your week like? Was it as long as ours? Was it as stupid as ours? Was it as cool as ours?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let us know.
Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye.
What I'm thinking is what is killing me. What you thinking?